Just trying to survive and learn to love along the way by Foreplay on AO3. Episode 104, Chapter 104 of Ambulant Rides and Tearful Reunions. Izuku wakes up before they're even loaded into the ambulances. It's a bit of a disappointment. He would have liked to be oblivious to the whole ride and treatment, and now he'll have to deal with it all. Although he is pretty exhausted, maybe he'll pass out again and get to miss it. You're up faster than I thought you'd be. His dad crouches next to him. Unfortunately, Izuku probably has a concussion, and his dad knows it too. With him here watching over him, there is little chance of him passing out again. Is everyone else okay? What happened with All Might? As much as he doesn't like the #1 hero, seeing him there, in his small form, is something he'd like to understand a bit better. Not here. His dad leaves no room for argument. It's then that Izuku sits up. The scene isn't much different from when he collapsed, save for the additional several news crews, all reporting on different things. They're all behind police tape, of course, but they're as close as they can be, probably zooming their cameras as much as possible as well. There are several pointing in his direction, hoping to catch something interesting as he just sits here. Most are trained on the ambulances as they pull their injured heroes in there. There are more injured heroes than there should be. Kirishima is one of the stretcher ones. Katsuki, sticking to the side, most likely refusing to leave. Sir Night-Eye is being rolled to another ambulance, still unconscious. Even Sun Eater is there, being closed by a lost-looking Sero-senpai as they wheel him in. Izuku's eyes finally catch Hitoshi. He's conscious now, sitting in the back of an ambulance, holding gauze to his head. Izuku scrambles to his feet, desperate to get to his boyfriend. He nearly falls over after the first couple of steps, his dad catching him before they could fall. So Izuku just drags him with him to the ambulance. He steps inside, then his dad shuts the door behind him. Izuku has to sit down when they begin to move. His dad probably planned this. There's no EMT back here. They're both sitting up front, separated, but mostly out of earshot. It gives Izuku the opportunity to reunite properly with his boyfriend without the worry of reporters hearing something. Are you okay? What happened there? Hitoshi peels the gauze away before turning to Izuku. He doubts he's supposed to do that, so Izuku pulls it from his hand and puts it on the wound himself. He doesn't comment on the tears that welled up in Hitoshi's eyes in the motion. I don't really want to talk about it more than once, and since they said we'll all be there for the debriefing, is that okay? If I tell you with everyone else? He'd never seen Hitoshi like this before. He looks terrified. Izuku will never push Hitoshi like that. His boyfriend had always been so supportive of him, always making sure that he's comfortable before doing anything. There's no reason that he should be treated with any less care. Of course that's okay, sweetheart. Whatever you're comfortable with. They've really never used pet names before, but from the way Hitoshi blushes at the word, he thinks he might start. Thank you. Hitoshi puts his hand over Izuku's, squeezing tightly. They sit just like that for the rest of the ride. Their happiness can only last so long, though. As soon as they reach the hospital, the two of them are put in wheelchairs and separated. Of course, they're both taken directly to the hero ward, but once they get there, Hitoshi's taken down one hallway and Izuku another. Izuku needs to get scans done. It's necessary, but it's something he absolutely loathes. He just gets so anxious laying there for so long, and this time is no different. He finds himself wishing for his dads, but one is dealing with the scene of the raid, while the other is keeping an eye on their classmates. Or not. Izuku's wheeled out of the scanning room and finds his dad there, still in his civilian clothes. The nurses don't even pause, but his dad walks right next to him, a comforting hand on his shoulder. What are you doing here? Aren't you watching the class today? Nah, got Minoru to babysit. Would rather be with my boys here. Speaking of, where's your dad? Stayed at the scene. Of course he did. Damn workaholic. Izuku giggles at that. Izuku's wheeled into a room and led onto a bed. The nurse tells him that a doctor will be there shortly to talk about the results and promptly leaves. Are you okay, baby? Izuku shrugs. His dad doesn't push. He knows to give Izuku his time to find the words, if he does at all. It's just, so many people got hurt, you know? There should have been more pros and less student on this mission. I don't know if half of my friends are okay, or if Mirio-senpai will ever have a quirk again. Shit, Zuko. That's a lot. He nods. Do you want a hug? Another nod. His dad is careful, as always when he pulls him into a tight hug. It's just enough pressure that Izuku finally feels like he can relax. So of course the doctor interrupts. Izuku wouldn't have expected the results so quickly, but then again, this is a hero ward. Things just run so much better here. I've got some good news. Nothing is too damaged internally, aside from a few bruises. Your head injury is mild, not even a concussion. Based on that, I don't even need to admit you for the night. So, you're free to go and check on your friends. Izuku looks to his dad first. He's sure there's more information the doctor needs them to know, but he also likes to take the doctor up on his suggestion and make sure his friends are okay. It's fine, Izuku. Go check on your other listeners. I'll get the rest of the information. Izuku can't help the grin as he ushered out of the room. He winces as the movement pulls at his ribs and tries to ignore the persistent ache in his thigh. He'll definitely need to ice that when he gets home. But first, he needs to reassure himself that his friends are alright. He doesn't even know who to check on first. Does he just wander around until he finds someone? Maybe he should just ask the nurse at the desk and see who he's allowed to visit. That's probably a smart idea. Izuku does just that. He finds out that Hitoshi is free for visitors, but he's already made sure he's okay. The next he asks about is Kachan. He looks mostly okay after the raid, all except for his arm, which they're all still checking out. The nurse mentions the possibility of surgery, which is worrisome, but there's nothing Izuku could do about that now, so he asks about the next person on his list. What about Kirishima-kun? The nurse is patient as she flips through more papers. Yes, he's been treated, for the most part. You're more than welcome to visit him over at room 507. Thank you. Izuku gives her a thankful smile and rushes off to find his friend. Kirishima will probably want an update on Kachan as well. Izuku slows once he reaches the right hallway. He freezes for a minute in front of room 507. Something is off. Off enough that danger sense is triggering. Well, he had been suppressing it during the raid. He saw no reason to in the hospital. So why should it warn him in front of Kirishima's room? Best case scenario, his quirk is wonky because he's exhausted. Izuku doesn't want to think about the worst case. Izuku presses an ear to the door and listens. All he can really make out is the raised voice of a woman. He opens the door a crack, just enough to peek in, and reads on whatever's going on. He could see Kirishima on the bed, sitting up on his knees. More visible skin, covering in bandage, reminiscent of their stay after the training camp. One of his arms is trapped in someone's grip, but he can't make out who in this angle. What he can make out is a distraught look of his friend's face. He looks so confused and upset, tears running down his face, and lips clamped shut to repress his sobs. He can't take it, seeing his friend like this, so Izuku bursts into the room without a second thought. The woman turns around at the sound, and he realizes that it's Kirishima's mother. The only movement Kirishima makes is to continue trying to yank his arm out from her grip. He doesn't even flinch at the door slamming open. And when he looks closer, Izuku realizes he doesn't have his hearing aids in. Their position is familiar. It reminds Izuku of the last time he saw his mother in the hospital, when she grabbed him just like this. Kirishima, noting his mother's destruction, looks over at Izuku. His eyes go wide, and he stops yanking at his arm, for a good second. But that second is all his mother needs to pull him forward. Kirishima goes toppling forward, right off the end of the bed. The action leaves him laying on the ground, arm still held in his mother's hand. There's blood on his bandages. Izuku runs towards the pair, ignoring his own pains in the face of his friends. But when he reaches them, Kirishima's mother panics. She thrusts out a hardened arm, catching Izuku in the middle and sending him flying back into the cabinets. The pain in his torso intensifies, becomes unbearable. And all I could do is gaze into Kirishima's eyes that look on with horror. Alright. This is a nice, not sweet, short chapter, but oh well. And it's not sweet, and it's not short. I'd come back from a 7-hour shift to this. A 7-hour shift with, mind you add, I ended with me, I ended shift, clocked out, and then I ran to the bathroom because I projectile vomited. Yeah, lovely shift. Love that shit. But no, why the fuck do I... Okay, well, sweet with Hitoshi and Izuku. I want to know what the fuck happened to Hitoshi. Why was he so scared? What the fuck? I want to know what happened there. Being held hostage by Overhaul might not be, the greatest. I understand how that could, traumatize a kid. But, no, yeah, I want to know what happened there. Cute little Hitoshi and Izuku moment, cute little sweet pet names. We love that. Kirishima's mom, what's happening here? What's going on? Buddy, what's going on? I'm not liking this. Okay, chapter 505. 105, my bad. Of pain and confusion. Summary. Eijirou wakes up, unsure of where he is. When he finally realizes, he still has to figure out why. Okay, so we're gonna get Kirishima's point of view. Okay, alright, I see you. Anyways, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.